Left Wing Kings. Listen, think, act, repeat.
Welcome to the Left Wing King podcast. Today we're going to be discussing the indictment of the Donald. We're going to be talking about the Cardi B water incident. And we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about these parents who got these kids who got all this expensive stuff while they're getting public assistance. I am your HMIC, your head moderator in charge, Malik, and I'm joined by Queen Tina.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
And my main man, Ace.
What up, what up?
I want to start off by getting a shout out to everybody listening in on the podcast, whether you're on Amazon, Apple, whatever you're at. Thank you, Spotify, all of the podcasting platforms out there. Appreciate all the love. And if you're joining us on a live stream right now, if you're on Facebook Live, if you're on YouTube Live, we are streaming live to you. Jump on board, join in the conversation, leave some comments, and make sure that you hit that like button. All right. So on Tuesday, August 1st, the Donald. We got to say that the right way. The Donald was indicted on four felony charges. I need to look this up. Conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, and 2 counts of obstructing an official proceeding. So if he's convicted, he could get up to 20 years in jail. This is serious stuff, Ace.
You know, Jack Smith ain't playing.
He sure ain't.
He's not playing. He's coming for him. It's, you know, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I guess my surprise is, and I was reading an article this morning on the Washington Post, that you have people that just honestly don't understand the ramifications of what's going on. Like, it's serious business.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? He tried to defraud the government, and he tried to he messed with the peaceful transfer of power.
Yes.
That's big, man. That's big. That's old blow away paper constitutional stuff that, you know, Thomas Jefferson and George Washington wrote down. You know what I'm saying? And if you talk about the transfer of power, if anybody could have did that, it was George Washington. You know, he could honestly said, "Hey, I ain't leaving." And you go, guess what? We'd have been a monarchy again.
Yeah,
so
and they love George Washington. They would have been happy to have him.
Yeah, it's big. So you know, that's mind-boggling on how the device of this country still is there's people that just don't want to believe what happened. But January the 6th, and it's cool how Jack Smith kind of did it. He kind of set him up. So when he was doing the documents case, and he let him set it up in Florida, he did that on purpose. So when he wanted to come to DC, because you know, and I don't know if you recall, Judge Cannon is the same judge that dealt with Trump in one of his earlier cases. And she actually, when he got convicted, she actually dismissed the case and got in trouble for it.
Okay.
That's the same judge that's over the documents case, and she purposely extended that case out. Jack Smith did it on purpose so he could bring this January 6th case in and do a speedy trial on it. So he set him up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's serious, man. I mean, you know, how you don't see that this guy, what he's done to this country, and we're talking about Trump, what he's done to this country, try to keep power. I just don't see how you like believe that you know, you don't take it serious. Like, he still got it, you know, he still is the leading candidate for the presidency to win the primaries on the Republicans. And I'm like,
no doubt.
You know, what else can he do? What can he do? I don't know.
He said what he could do. I mean, he can walk out on the street and just kill somebody, you know, and still be the Republican primary leader, which is crazy just to think that. But I'm really concerned about our country from a perspective of like how divided we are on something so simple. To me, look, if a person is being charged with a crime, there is enough evidence there for them to create that charge and go to court and all that stuff. It doesn't mean that he's guilty or innocent right now, but they have enough confidence in what they found that they can charge him with something. Our country is so divided that we have people that just love Trump so much that they don't care, like you said, Tina, what he does, what the charges are. I'm kind of like, look, man, if he gets off, this is going to set a precedent for anything moving forward, because then you can do all the stuff that he did, and be safe. And that's what I'm concerned about. Like, why do we think it's okay to let some dude come in here, try to take over try to overthrow the government and keep himself in power? Why are people on his side defending him? It's strange.
I have no idea.
Money. It boils down to money. He is one of the biggest fraudulent business owners.
It's called a con man.
Yes, he's a con man.
No doubt.
These people who support him are con men too, and women that are about the money.
I wouldn't say all of them. I just think a lot of them are just, some people I think close to them that are in their circle and know better,
Right.
Yeah, they're just kind of jumping in on the money bandwagon. But I think, like, let's cut this myth. There's some good people that like Donald Trump.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and all of them aren't money hungry. I just think all of them or a lot of them don't trust the government. And Donald Trump is an alternative to what they're used to. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that. I mean, there's some people out there, and I think that's part of the problem with the country, is that if somebody goes for Trump, you already get a negative connotation on them. Some people are just fed up with the country so much, they're willing to kind of believe the guy that's trying to do something different, almost on a blind faith type of deal. You know what I'm saying? And you have some people that are out there. Something I wanted to try to do is I want to debunk the myth of this, or just get rid of this argument right here. You have people that say, hey, well, Joe Biden and this and Hunter Biden that. Here's the deal. If that's true, he needs to go to jail too.
He sure do.
Yeah.
I'm
not saying if Hunter Biden did some fraud stuff and Joe Biden backed him up, well, he should be held accountable for that also. It's not a tit for tat. Listen, we're talking about what Trump did. You know what I'm saying? And what he did in front of our face and still is doing just to hold on to power, to turn this into a dictatorship. That's what we're focusing on. Like I said, this dude's got 4 federal accounts from the Department of Justice. These ain't traffic tickets. You know what I'm saying? This dude tried to steal the government and defunk our way of life, and that's what we got to focus on. And that's a big problem of what's going on and why things are so divisive and why games are being played. I mean, a lot of people, I don't think they understand it. This dude can still be president from jail if he wins it. There's nothing in the Constitution that says he can't be president in jail.
Nope.
And he's playing on that.
It's funny how you can't vote if you go to jail,
but you can
still be president.
There's a dude I didn't do my research, but just looking. There's a dude that back in 1800s actually ran.
He ran. He was in jail.
He was in jail. I
can't remember his name either.
I mean, so it's almost like you're allowing this guy to make a mockery of our government. Yeah. Like, let me push it to its edge and see what I can get away with, pretty much. Yeah. And the dude goes in and says it's a political thing. Look, man, you decided to run for president when you knew you had all these charges coming up. It's not a political thing. It's you trying to get out of these charges.
Right.
Like, you declared being the president damn near 3 years out because you knew what was, you saw the storm coming and you knew that was going to make things different. So him getting up there singing and saying, hey, man, it's political persecution. No, it ain't.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, not at all. You know what I'm saying? No, there's nobody out there that's trying to stop you from doing what you're doing. In fact, they're letting you do what you do. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, if you were anybody else, you'd be sending somebody's jail cell right now waiting on your trial.
So here's the thing, man, about what you said. A few things about what you said. The first one, when somebody said, well, Hillary did this and well, Biden did that or whatever, you know what? I disregard them straight up, because first and foremost, they can't articulate any reason why they're defending their person. So that's why they try to deflect to something else.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You can't justify what he did. And when you can't justify what he did, you try to bring up something else, like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy did this.
Yeah.
Well, I don't give a damn about what Tommy did. I'm talking to you, John. This is about you and about your situation. So if they can't speak to that and they can't articulate why he's okay, why he didn't break the law, they shift and they try to deflect and try to bring up Hillary's emails or Benghazi or whatever, right? They
Hillary
try
been
to
out
bring
of
up
office for a long time.
and they still bring those things up, man. And at the end of the day, they don't have a defense. Just like he doesn't have a defense. Like, he tries to say freedom of speech. they keep hollering about freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech there are consequences and there are limitations.
Yeah.
You can't just say, hey, terroristic threats. There's all types of laws.
Yeah.
Slander. There's all types of laws based on what you say, right?
Yeah.
That you can get sued for, you can go to jail for. All types of laws. Fraud is a big one, which he's been committed.
Yeah.
Like if you say something that results in you trying to gain something, the presidency per se, you're committing fraud. Okay. And so you knowingly lied to gain something. Fraud. That is your freedom. There's not freedom of speech anymore. It's out the window. You can lie all you want to, and you have freedom of speech to lie. But once you start trying to gain something from those lies, it's fraud and it's illegal. So that's a big thing for me. I don't like when they try to deflect like that, because to me, I'm just like, I just disregard people that do that, because you don't have a reason that you defend him. And that's to your second point, people who vote for this guy or support him, look, man, I just feel sorry for him. Part of him is what you said, Tina, is people with money. I understand those people.
Yeah.
Not that I agree with them. Right. Not that I agree with them people,
Right.
but at least they're getting something out of it. Right.
Yeah.
And they support him because they're getting, whether it's like to be in office and the money is generated from being a senator or whatever. I understand you're crooked. You want to get some money. I see you. But it's the people, the little people who get nothing and just love him and support him. And you said, well, he's doing something different. He did nothing different. He's running a book. He said he's going to do things. He's been an asshole.
No, I don't think he's doing anything different.
He hasn't done anything. Well, that's the point. Like they're saying, well, I want to vote for somebody who's different. He ain't different.
He's just putting it out there.
Well, no, here's the only difference that he has, and the perception that he has is he's not a Washington insider.
He is.
I'm just saying, but that's a perception he has. Hey, I'm not one of them guys. I'm different. That's what I'm coming from.
But see,
I'm not agreeing that he's different. I'm just saying that's the perception.
And people just believe whatever the hell he says. I'm different. I'm not a Washington insider. I know you don't feel that way, but I'm just saying. He's talking to them, and they're just eating up everything that he says. And I'm like, man, he's so gullible. Like every single thing he says is like, and I know smart people. Very intelligent people who support him and love him and believe everything he says. And I'm like, how do you do this job and you this smart?
It's that blind faith.
Like I don't believe everything Biden tells me.
No, exactly.
I didn't believe everything Obama told me.
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you don't take nothing on face value, and and it's like you said, man. I don't really get that part of. Like, what did Donald Trump do that you're going to hang everything on what he says? Like, his reality TV show, bro. Like, and he wasn't even telling the truth then. He wasn't firing nobody. All the people got paid after they did that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just like that. And I think that kind of brings me up to the, like, well, what did he do to earn that kind of blind faith to the point where you just do everything that he says you hang on. It's a guy that got convicted in January 6th, and I wish I did my homework and got his name out, but this just popped into my head. But he said, man, the worst thing I did was just live on blind faith and do everything he says. I lost my home, I lost my wife, I lost my job. And I mean, it's a lot of people. Everybody, and it's funny, everybody that's doing what he says is going to jail.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And getting prison sentences.
Except Mark Meadows.
Yeah.
I think that dude is
he probably cut a deal with the DOJ.
He sure enough did.
Yeah. He cut a deal with the DOJ, or he was going to jail.
He sure enough. He would have been conspirator number 7.
Yeah.
You know what he's doing different? He's committing all these crimes in all these different states. Like if we count up how many things he's been indicted for in different states, the feds, everything, he's been indicted for a lot of stuff. And then now also these civil suits, his rape of whatchamacallit. And there's a cop from the insurrection that is suing Donald Trump as well for how his blind faith, basically, and I'm just like, I was reading I was like, all of this is what our president is allowed to do. This is what the Constitution allows our president to do.
Nah. Have you ever slowed down and thought about the actual actions he did? Like, think about it. Just slow down and
He's slick.
No, just think about Like the actual action he did. This dude called up Georgia,
Uh-huh.
called him up on the phone and said, man, I need you to find me 11,000 votes. Like, who the hell does that? Like, I mean, have you just slowed down and thought about some of the stuff he did?
That's the narcissism in him.
You know,
but the crazy thing is the people who love him, there's nothing wrong with that. That's freedom of speech. No, it's not. He's asking someone to commit a crime.
A whole state and was like, yo, man, I need 11,000 votes down there, man.
Get to it.
He's asking someone to commit voter fraud. That, once again, fraud.
Yeah.
His words, asking someone to do something fraudulent is a crime. And that's why the state of Georgia is after him. You know what I'm saying? But we got some comments here on Facebook. I want to go ahead and bring them on real quick and let y'all go ahead and respond.
All right. That'll work.
Stacy Perriman says First Amendment rights is not for the average citizen. If you post you want to kill a president, the Secret Service will show up to your front door. So a regular Joe can't say the stuff that the president says. Yeah. They'll get arrested, federally arrested, but he can walk around doing whatever he wants. Thanks, Stacy, for joining in.
Yeah, the freedom of speech defense. I mean, think about it. Like, let's make it real simple. Go into a movie theater and yell fire. And ain't no fire in there. There go your freedom of speech right there.
Right.
You know what I'm
saying?
But
I bet if Trump did it, it'll be okay.
Oh no, that's freedom of speech, man. He can say fire anytime he wants.
I'm just saying.
You just brought a horrible vision to my mind.
Yeah,
just imagine somebody doing that in a movie theater, bro.
Yeah.
Or like just screaming like he's got a gun. You know what I'm saying? Like you going down.
I got COVID.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm coughing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know, that's a great point, Stacey. I mean, the rules, basically what she's saying is the rules ain't fair. I mean, across the board. I mean, and it's not just that way for presidents and citizens, right? We know that impacts us like on a daily basis.
Supreme Court justices, for example.
Yeah. And this is the funny thing, man. I posted a little thing today on the page talking about the judge for this. I don't know if you saw it on there or not.
I didn't see it yet.
But the judge for the Trump indictment that he just got for January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Jamaican sister.
So I posted a thing on there like, about basically just saying that, she they talk about whether she went ahead and got her ancestors, if she got the same training that her ancestors got, and if it's in law, or if Trump hopes that she was trained as a blacksmith. Because basically that's the only way he gonna get off with this. Because this woman, I heard she's a really good judge and she don't play.
She don't play. She's handed out the harshest punishments when it comes to January 6th. And basically she's saying one thing: you can't do that.
Good for her.
You can't do this.
We need more of her.
Yeah, I mean, and here's a whole thing, and this may be for another show, but the fake patriotism of I'm looking out for the country and I'm gung ho and I'm supporting Trump. Like, end of the day, end of the story, like the dude does not care about the country and hasn't shown any of that at all. As a matter of fact, I mean, he favors our enemies.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And has good conversations and basically said, hey, if I'm in office, I'm coming out of Ukraine. And I think that's kind of the plan of Putin even attacking Ukraine and first and foremost, thinking that Trump was going to be in office. So, and then telling people to storm the Capitol and pretty much telling Mike Pence to, void the election, just things that go against the Constitution. It's crazy, going back to just thinking of things that Trump did, if you think about it, how crazy it is. Like, he came up with a group of fake electors.
Yeah.
Like a group of people, like, all right, they got real electors, but I'm gonna come up with my own fake ones, and y'all put these fake ones in that are gonna vote for me. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Like, on tape talking about it. Got him caught. And I even want to touch on a little bit what you said a second ago, man, like about like he's trying to tear the country apart. He's not trying to help. Like every time, so just a few examples. Not even the things that he's in trouble for. I'm gonna give you some great examples here. First off, every time he's in trouble for something, who's the one leaking? I'm gonna get indicted on Tuesday.
He
This is going to happen. He leaks it. And why? He wants to stir up people and get them mad and start acting a fool. So now, if you guys haven't heard, yesterday, he tweeted something that said, anybody who comes after me, I'm coming after them.
He got back
on that Truth Social. He put that out there. So the attorneys, the prosecutor was like, hey, hold on, bro. We want a I can't remember what it's called, but a legal process that basically he can't say anything.
Gag order.
It's not a gag order. It's similar to it. He can't say anything about the trial. He can't release any evidence because basically what has to happen is the prosecution has to give all of their evidence and information over to the defense.
Right.
And once they get it, it's in Trump's hand. They're afraid that he's going to start intimidating people. He's going to start tweeting or not tweeting, but putting posts on Truth Social and all of that stuff and trying to, once again, tear down the country.
Yeah.
He does these things to divide us purposefully. Like, and people are like, he's the one to bring us together. He's the great divider.
That's what he's done. He's done this to our country. He's giving these racist people the encouragement to go out and say stuff to our face where they wasn't doing that before him. They would talk about us behind our back, but now they can do it on Facebook. They can do it.
He made it fashionable to be a bigot.
Yes, he is. And exactly fashionable to be a bigot. And these people are taking it to a whole nother level to where we already had all this Black Lives Matter and Asian Lives Matter and all this stuff. He made it to where it was okay for them to bash us, for them to try to hurt us, for them to take away our abilities to go to school, to get jobs and all that stuff. He defuncted all that.
Yeah. He definitely paved the way for DeSantis to do all the crazy things that he's doing down there. And I mean, you know, Roger Stone and Steve Bannon married him to the white nationalist movement pretty much on his campaign and backed them to do a lot of that. And, you know, like I said, we could go down that rabbit hole, but end of the day, and I even think, unfortunately, even for them, and I don't think they even understand. I don't think he's even in a corner. I just think that he's using them to get the means that he wants. End of the day, it's just about what he can gain and if he can keep power. So
you talk about using people. When's the last time you heard from his kids or his wife?
Nobody. They
I don't think he know where his wife is.
To
be honest with you,
I
think she said
his kids are like, hey, we done with this, bro. Once you got out of office and you started tripping about, as soon as he started saying I didn't win, they was ghosts.
Yeah, they out of there.
They I'll give you this much. They smarter than he is.
Even his daughter went and said, look, man, you lost the election, man.
Just back up, bro. Just back down.
So
I mean, his own family, and the kids, they don't say anything. That's the key. Because they're not supporting him. But if they thought he was right, they would be. Because they know kids. They know he's wrong. So guess what they're doing? They're not saying anything. Because they're not going to go out there and say, he's lying, They're not going to do it to their dad.
Right.
So they're just going to be quiet. And that's exactly what they're doing right now, is not supporting him. And it's through the lack of communication, in my mind. So,
yeah, they don't want them problems, man. I mean,
he used some of their businesses and stuff like that to launder money and move money around. So that's part of why his wife ain't talking.
Yeah, they're trying to separate themselves.
Yeah, in New York, man. I mean, in the New York case, which is more of a a business suit. You know, the kids is on that docket. You know, they're going after them too.
That's right. Exactly. As they should.
But hey, I mean, you got civil cases, we got criminal cases against him. Let's say that he is found guilty of a criminal case. Is he actually going to be put in a jail cell as the president of the United States?
Well, ex-president.
Ex-president, thank you.
He still got, I don't believe so, because he has a Secret Service attachment. It's going to be with him for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Like, we can't have Trump going to prison and getting shanked. You know what I'm saying?
Why not?
So
I mean, no, I'm just saying, because he's still an ex-president.
He can go to prison. He can still go to prison, but they would have to be kind of, either they would have to put him in solitary. And there are people who go to prison and they put him in solitary for protection.
Yeah.
So he could do that.
But they're going to say that is
cruel and unusual for this.
That part. Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't cruel and unusual for him groping my vagina, but he can't be in solitaire.
Yeah, no,
Get out of here.
You know,
But that's an option,
You're
right?
right.
It's on the
Yeah.
table. I don't know what's going to happen. That's why I asked, because maybe, like you said, maybe they don't put him in prison. Maybe they just put him on house arrest.
my belief is more like that. Either some type of exile to, but what would you let him exile to? Like, or it's going to be something like Mar-a-Lago is not going to be his prison. You know what I'm saying? He's
Right.
going to be there and
House arrest.
and I think and he'll probably have way more freedoms. He'll be locked up, but you know, he'll be able to do golf courses or whatever. He just will be kind of shunned, because here's the deal. Like, I don't see them putting a Secret Service detachment in a prison. They could in one way, shape, or form, but they could probably just have them there and they almost turn into his prison guards, you know. And
They can have shifts.
you know.
I mean, they got shifts today.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't have to like live there with them.
No, I'm just saying, but they would
guess
have.
who pays for that?
Yeah.
The same people who pay for it now. I mean,
Yeah, but
those are the people who support him too.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a good thing.
well, we're gonna be paying the Secret Service agents for the rest of his life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that would be a form of punishment. Maybe like he doesn't have a passport, but you know he's at Mar-a-Lago and he has to be there at certain times and all kinds. It's gonna be something crazy.
here's what
like
I think is going to happen, man. I think in my mind, the judge or I don't know if it's the judge or if it's a jury that gets to like select his sentence, right? I don't know in this case, but whoever gets to select it is going to select it outright. And they're not going to have to come up with the solution of how to do it. So they'll just say he gets 12 years in jail. Now, once that happens, I think the prison system or whoever is going to have to figure out, how are we going to protect this man while he's in jail? Or can we make it house arrest? Or like you said, Mar-a-Lago. I don't think he's going to have any privileges if he actually gets convicted and he's sentenced to jail time. I just think that it's not up to the judge to figure out how to do it. It's not up to the jury to figure out how to do it. It's up to them to say, here's your sentence. Somebody else on the other end got to figure out how to execute on that sentence.
Do you think this is going to drive for a law change or a constitutional right change in reference to him getting all these benefits as a president? Future presidents coming along, committing all these federal offenses and other offenses, takes those rights away? Like when we go to jail, we lose our right to vote. What are the consequences of government officials like this getting, when they do all these crimes? Shouldn't that take away those rights?
Well, it should, but I think the biggest thing that we're seeing with Trump is, if you have money and fame, you get to play with the justice system. Like you get to extend.
But that's not what it was supposed to be.
I'm just saying, but
as.
you get to
Right.
extend your cases, and you get to, you still get to be kind of out because you're on bail and yada yada yada. Well, if you don't have any money, we don't see you.
Exactly.
You're gone. I think the best we can do is, I think that out of the whole situation, when history kind of writes the story, I just think America, the best we can hope for is they'll be more aware and they'll act more, they'll act quicker when they do that. I don't know if they come up with a law to the point where they say, hey, if you do this, this happens. I think those laws are already actually in the book. We just have to act on them. It's funny. I was I had the privilege of doing jury duty this week.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was. But it's funny. The judge told me, he said something and it stuck to me, and it made sense. He says the problem, but most of the time people think the law is black and white.
It's not. It's very clear.
Nope.
They think that it's black and white. So the law is written and this is how it's supposed to go. He says it's very gray and it's very fluid. So it's up to the interpretation of the person. So with that being said, I don't think there's laws on the book right now that should have Donald Trump should be way up under the jail somewhere for what he did. But it's a lot of other factors that came into play that he's been able to use to his advantage. And because he has money and he has a little bit of power and he has fame, he got the lawyer or he got the team that's looking in every nook and cranny to keep him out of jail. Most people, they can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You got a public defender. He ain't gonna stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning trying to find a way to get you out of trouble.
Right.
He's gonna tell you to plea.
Yeah.
He got too many cases. He's gonna make you plea bargain, and and then you're gonna end up doing time that you shouldn't be doing anyway because you didn't do the crime in the first place.
Stacy commented on Facebook Live that This is not just a movement to get him back in office, but turn the clock back, put minorities in place and women in their place. Like,
Oh yeah.
go back to the field. Women, you don't have no more rights. You do what your husband.
His whole
tells you to
slogan,
do.
"Make America Great Again." The whole.
It was never.
I knew that
great.
was. I knew that was a problem when it came out.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
boy.
like, I was confused. When was it?
That's like a black time traveler going back.
Yeah,
We
like-
only going back to the 80s, bro. We ain't going
we
over.
ain't
Yeah.
going no further than that.
Maybe 75. I might be able to
Yeah.
live with 75.
yeah, but
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, when did the Wiz come out? I want to go. That's what I want to go to.
Man, you know, when Michael Jackson was a kid and singing
but
that,
he was still
that's about as
brown
far as
and
we
had-
gonna go,
had
man.
his original nose.
1964 was the Civil Rights Act. That was 64.
I
Yeah.
wasn't
My
born.
sister was born in 66.
Yeah,
Crazy, huh?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, think about it.
I have a brother born in 66, one born in
That's
68.
what I'm saying.
And my parents couldn't get married because my mom is white.
Yeah.
The
So,
Civil Rights
That's
Act.
what they want to send us back to, huh?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I said, the Civil Rights Act. I tell people, I say, you know, here's a bad part when you say civil rights. A damn dog got civil rights.
More rights than
That's
we
what I'm
do. They're
saying.
treated more
They have-
humane than
Go
we
kick
do.
a dog in front of somebody.
Oh,
See
you
what
going
happened to you.
prison. You
Yeah,
going up underneath the jail.
You're not being civil to that dog. That's
Right.
civil rights.
That's right.
We just got civil rights as a people in 1964.
And it's been taken back.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you talking about make America great again? Where you gonna? The only time you gonna make America great again? Take me back to like '89. You know what I'm saying? So I can
Yeah.
start all over. That's about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Hey,
Yeah.
well, you talk about making America great, but there was a concert in New York, and somebody didn't think Cardi B was great.
Oh.
Okay. And
Well,
Cardi
New York-
B-
I thought that was Vegas.
that was New York.
Oh,
man.
wow.
She was in New York.
Okay.
A fan threw water on her, and Cardi B said, "You know what? F you." And she threw a mic. Chunk.
A whole
I don't know
mic.
if she hit the right person, but she threw a mic.
A whole mic.
Yeah, she
And,
did because the person did try to go file charges on her.
Okay. Well,
That's
some
bad.
say that she was justified. Some say she wasn't.
Mhm.
Right. So all I know if people is getting at her like hard online on the internet, memes is they doing her dirty.
Internet's
You know?
undefeated, man. They just
So
Yeah.
Tina, tell me what do you think about this Cardi B thing?
Well, having looked at a few things, I'm kind of on the fence because either earlier in that particular show or at some point she said to the audience, "It's hot, splash me with water, squirt me with water." Well, this person didn't squirt. They took their cup and did like that. First of all, we don't know what was in that cup.
Mm-mm.
That could have been anything. That could have been something to maim her, acid, whatever. So if she did that and they misinterpreted that, then, you know, that's what puts me on the fence. However, if that didn't occur, because I wasn't there and they did that, she's very justified. She's very justified. That is assault. And when she tried to file assault on Cardi B, the cops got different videos and searched the internet of different angles. And they said she had no warrant of, they didn't
Had no
file
merit.
Yeah, that had no merit. But what was interesting is earlier sometime too, she was upset with the sound guy at another show. And they show her throwing her mic, not at him, but like behind, like whatever's behind her, like this mic isn't working or something like that. So that's what people's jumping on that bandwagon.
Didn't she also throw a mic out at another show before too? Like
No, that was
BET?
somebody else. That was somebody else who saw a man punch a girl in the face at the concert, and they threw their mic and almost jumped down to fight him. It was whoever it was, I can't think of who it was, said that triggered them because they saw a woman being assaulted in the crowd. So whoever it was stood up for him.
Huh.
But I don't think that this is the way to drive that myth about women, Black women being angry or aggressive or whatever, because she was defending herself.
Yeah,
and
no doubt.
That's one of the things that, and it's a real thing because I get it a lot too in different places of employment.
Nah, I can't
because
believe
I'm assertive, or I
don't believe that at
stick
all.
to my guns. I don't mind being on the island by myself if I feel passionate about something.
There you go.
But then people are like, oh, Christina, she's so aggressive, or she's got angry Black woman syndrome. Actually, I'm not angry at all. This is the best part of my life. I'm at so much peace, but I'm not going to let nobody disrespect me.
No doubt.
I'm not going to let people run all over me. I'm just going to say
But
what
see,
I want to say.
I'm just going to say a few things real quick. First off, I didn't know what you just said, like about her saying, "Hey, it's hot, throw some water on me or squirt me or whatever." That could have justified that woman throwing the water. She could have just been trying to do her a favor. She said, "It's hot, throw some water on me." The other thing is the angry Black woman thing. Like, that's a stigma that they try to place on Black women, as we know. Like, if you look back, Make America Great Again type thing. Once again, Leave It to Beaver, the Brady Bunch, the mom, docile, sweet, nice, make your dinner, obedient to the husband, got his drink ready when he come in the door, take his slippers and put them on his feet and put his feet up for him,
that lady
like
don't
he a
exist
king.
no more.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we're done with that, bruh. It's over.
Yeah.
They ain't no angry Black. That's why they try to use that stigma, because Black women had to fight forever to stand up for themselves, while white women were being docile, doing all the housework, making this, I don't know, kingdom.
I could attest
for
to
the
that.
white man.
I can attest to that. My mother was raised to take care of her husband. And when I started learning about women's lib, I would tell my mom, "Why are you cutting my dad's meat? He ain't got polio. Both his hands and feet work. He goes to work." And she's like, "Because he works hard for us every day." I was like, "Mom, I understand that." But I mean, he was in the military. She learned how to iron his uniforms, where the creases went. She learned how to spit shine his shoes. She learned how to do all of that. And back then, that's how women were, especially European women, were raised to take care of their man. They do all the work while the man goes makes the money.
Yeah, that don't happen no more.
Yeah.
But
that's not
your
happening
girlfriend
no more.
won't even tell you where your slippers are, much less put them on your feet.
You better go find them.
You be like, "Where my
slippers
slippers?" Like, nigga, she's not finding them for you. Cut your meat up.
Yeah, my mother used to cut
You better
my
hope you got
dad's
some meat cooked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
She was a choo-choo
I
train.
was like, "Are you gonna chew it for him? What's going on?"
It ain't going back to them days, man. But jumping back into the Cardi B thing, it's a couple of. I take it a lot of ways. I mean, here's the deal: Cardi B don't do herself any favors. I love Cardi B to death, and I'm not even judging her. I just think that to other people, when you hear her talk, when you see her carry herself, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the fact that she embraces who she is. Latina, Afro-Latina, and she speaks Spanish, and she has the accent. I love it. But I think that sometimes, especially in a situation like this, they try to use that against her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Then they also, like you said,
and because of where she came from too.
Exactly.
The pole,
exactly. And then the Black angry woman deal, or whatever the case may be. Now, like you say, like with the sound guy, I've situations, and and here's another part of it. Cardi B's also this generation that puts everything she does on social media. So you see the good side and you see the bad side. Like, you probably saw the sound check guy situation, and there's probably various situations where you've seen Cardi B not being favorable. You know what I'm saying? So,
but she's a human too. She has emotions.
Exactly.
She has feelings.
But what I'm saying is, it's depicted out there. So when you see something like this, all the memes come out, and I mean, they were just roasting it with the memes. You know what I'm saying? Back and forth, the whole 9 yards. But all of them were based on angry Black woman, Cardi B being out of control type of a deal. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you didn't even know, and like I didn't even know that she said, "Hey, put some water on me. It's hot out here." They never bought that up.
Yep.
Right.
They had talking about the Statue of Liberty with the mic in the hand and all that craziness. That was funny.
But bro, if they would have brought that up the first day it happened, it would have changed the whole narrative.
It has changed the whole narrative, and that kind of falls into the play. And it takes you back, like you're saying, Christine. You start talking about your mom, or any situation, or you start talking about Black women in general in business, and I remember in situations or being at work where if a Black woman starts being a little emotional, she gets that depiction of angry Black woman who's, "Oh man, we don't want to say nothing because she might go out of control." Why? You know what I'm saying? Because she's Black. You know what I'm saying? Everybody sees her just, Shanae on Martin, where she gonna start going off and
Right.
in the office or
Oh, no, he
whatever.
didn't.
Yeah, twisting their head and all this,
Yeah.
So it being funny, not being funny, but being this incident with Cardi B just opens the door of like a lot of stereotypes that come to Black women in all types of situations.
It does. Yep. Our frustration, if we have a frustration in a situation or we're passionate about something, it's interpreted as being angry. I'm not angry. I'm passionate about this and I should be able to express that. And I outside of work, I can get real ignorant.
Nah,
but I
never seen
choose
that
not
side.
to.
I never seen that side.
I know you haven't because I'm professional.
I've seen it a lot of times.
Shut up. No, you haven't.
I'm being sarcastic.
I know you are. But I wonder if other women have to do that. If white women have to be like,
no, they're called go-getters.
Yeah.
They're called go-getters.
They're called strong women. They're called go-getters.
When I do it, I'm not a strong woman. I'm an angry one.
Yeah. That's a stigma. That is a stigma that they're trying to place on Black women forever. They want us to be viewed as less than human. Like we can't control our emotions. There's no reason behind what we do. We're out of control. We're animals. Whatever the case may be, right? So they will look at you and see a white woman do the exact same thing. Well, that's great for her, standing up for herself. But as soon as it's you, she's out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this whole thing, like, it has me like wondering, like, back to like the Cardi B is not the only one who seems to be like a victim here of someone at a concert doing something negative, right? To the performer.
People tripping in concerts.
I'm like, why are people paying money to go see somebody,
a lot of money at
that they don't like or they're angry with or whatever the case may be, to try to assault them? Guy ran up on stage to try to get Dave Chappelle.
People tripping in concerts, man.
You got this incident. There's others that I can't think of off the top of my head.
Will Smith ran up and just slapped the shit out of Chris Rock.
Stop it. But
people tripping in concerts, man.
Why are they tripping at these shows? Like, it's out of control, man. I'm just telling you, like, from my perspective, I ain't gonna pay no money to go see somebody I don't like. I'm not trying to help line their pockets.
Yeah, hurt them like that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of times I think it's it's people high, drunk. I don't know what it is, but why all of a sudden people feel they can be that interactive. Like, I'm gonna throw something on somebody, and I a lot of it's how can I get on social media? How can I get likes? A lot of it's attention grabbing. You know what I'm saying? But you're right, man. Just it's a slew of entertainers that are just having incidents when it comes to these concerts. So that's crazy.
We got a comment from Stacy. The second one, Black people.
Oh yeah. Black people never have the right to defend themselves verbally or physically, especially Black women. In a professional setting, Stacy has been told that she's aggressive, belligerent, sassy, just because I choose to answer something back. And I've experienced
I don't
that
like
too.
that sassy comment.
Yeah.
What the hell does sassy mean, man?
That's in the whoever up for interpretation. But I thank you, Stacy.
I've seen it used good and bad, but
no.
I've seen it used both ways.
Yeah. I mean, I heard people say something good is sassy and bad is sassy.
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting the good version.
We getting
sassy right there.
We getting the bassy, the bad sassy.
Yeah. And she is a nurse, if I recall correctly, who works in the education system.
Yeah.
So just imagine all the parents that she has to deal with children that have issues or have to take medicine or stuff.
Oh yeah, they'll tell on you.
Yeah.
They'll tell on you. They'll try to set up and say some bad shit about you.
Right. Like, and make up stuff too.
Make up stuff.
Yeah.
So,
but if you stand up for yourself, you're aggressive or sassy or whatever. No, I'm just standing up for myself. There's nothing behind it other than I have a right to stand up for myself.
You really being sassy over there.
I am. Team. Now I'm being sassy, but a good sassy, not a bad sassy.
Hey, look, it's sad that Cardi B, a Black woman, right? Any Black woman, like, is in a position where as soon as they do something to defend themselves, to Stacey's point, they out of line. That means that what the expectation is for you to be physically or verbally assaulted with no repercussions for doing that. And going back to the Trump thing, it kind of like feels like that's how people feel about Trump. He can say and do whatever he wants and shouldn't have to worry about it just because he's a former president or whatever.
And his actions are leading the pathway for people to treat us and assume
do the same thing.
what they're doing to us as
Well, I
okay.
can
Remember when Nene Leakes first came out on the Housewives? All the memes, there's a slew of gifs out there that we can use of her sassiness or her aggressiveness. You know, she's actually like trying to tone herself down.
She didn't help us out with that.
Right, exactly.
She didn't help the cause. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, love Nene Leakes. And here's the thing. Black women be black women.
Yeah.
We love your sassiness, we love your aggressiveness, we love your, so I make jokes and say things, but at the end of the day, be who you are. And that's basically where I'm at. Cardi B, who Cardi B is. We all know that.
And she's very transparent. And unfortunately, social media is taking advantage of that and painting it in a negative way.
The cool part about Cardi B is this. Everybody got a relative or a friend that's like Cardi B, You know what I'm saying? And whatever the case may be. And so be who you are.
Right.
It's society that's trying to take advantage of that.
Everybody, not everybody has everybody in our community has a friend or a family member like Cardi B.
Yes. Clarify that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people. I don't have anybody like Cardi B in my family. That's the first thing you're gonna hear. I understand what you're saying, though. I mean, you're right, 100%. We all know, all the people in our community know somebody like that, right? And it's sad, to your point, that there comes a place in time where we can't be ourselves. Because I will tell you right now, as a black man, I'm not always the same way I am here as I am at work.
Yeah,
right.
I can't talk to like some of my coworkers the way that I talk to you guys about things and stuff like that. And if any of them see these podcasts, they'd be like, "Man, you a whole different motherfucker."
Well, yeah,
I sure am, because at work I gotta protect that paper. I gotta protect my spot. I gotta make sure that I can continue to provide for my family. And if I was the way that I always am, I probably would be looked at differently. And that's the sad thing. That's the thing when we talk about America's a melting pot. We separate aisles in the store because we all got our own lanes that we going down, and we don't really mix the way that they say that we do, right? And if we try to, I don't know, be pandemonium.
Yeah, you can't be your authentic self as a person of color in the workforce. You can't.
I keep it hood.
I don't know how you do that.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
I know that's not.
You can do that.
No,
you can do it, but you just have to be aware that you probably ain't gonna move up. Because this is a good old boy society, and if you can't become, they don't feel like you fit. You gonna stay where you at.
You'd be amazed at the number of people of color that have left one job to another doing the exact same thing. And the reason why they left that first job is they were training people to do the job that they're doing, and those people are getting promoted.
Oh yeah, I've been a victim of that plenty of times.
Yeah. And it is no other reason than the color of their skin.
Oh yeah.
I'm teaching you how to do your job, and you get
teach you to be my boss.
Right.
Like really? I ain't listening to you.
Exactly. And
I am not coming to the meeting that I just showed you how to do, bro. I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? No, but I've been a victim of that. To be honest with you, and when I say I keep it's not that I keep it hood, but I do wear my blackness. Yeah. I'm okay with that. Now here's the deal. Now here's the deal.
Me too.
He's right, but I'm in a different chapter in my life. Like when I was earlier and younger, and I was trying to be aggressive. I played the game and wore the ties and talk the talk, and but as I got older and I guess time outweighed money, and it wasn't really important for me to be that aggressive.
Right.
Like I'm gonna be me. That's basically what it is. Give or take how you feel about it. And you know what I'm saying? And first and foremost, I'm too dark to try not to act like I am black.
You stupid.
I'm black. Like, what I'm saying? Like I can't fake
You
the
look
funk.
kind of Caucasian.
I can't fake the funk. Dog, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're a fool.
When I had hair, it was nappy. The nose is big. You know what I'm saying? I'm a black dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Are you sure?
I like chicken. You know what I'm saying? Don't ask me what I want for lunch, nigga. Chicken. Nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but to your point, though, I mean,
Yeah.
we could be our authentic selves, and we have options based on what we want out of life. Like, hey, if you're at a place in life where you're like, I'm just gonna be me, and I'm fine with where I'm at because I'm at a good place. Great. But someone like Cardi B, like, she could be her authentic self because she's her own business.
Yeah.
She's the brand.
yeah.
Yes.
Right. And if people like the brand and she's portraying, she gonna keep being herself and doing her. That's why a lot of these other, like you said, these young kids out there want to do this. The millennials want to be on there and they want to have a TikTok or Uber or whatever because they feel like, hey, I don't have no expectations. I could be myself, be authentic, and do this job. Maybe I'll become a millionaire. Maybe I won't, you know, but I could be me. Now, if I want to go down that path where I got to join UPS or Amazon or whatever, and then become a corporate person, understand that once you get in that corporate realm, you got to wear that mask.
You got to wear that mask. You got to wear that mask.
Absolutely.
And Cardi B put in work to get where she's at.
Oh,
Right.
no,
A lot of work.
Don't be wrong. And I think that's where a lot of these millennials get it twisted. Yeah, she didn't wake up at 11 o'clock, eat a piece of cold pizza, you know, get on TikTok, go back to sleep.
Right.
And wake back up and think they got 10,000
views
because somebody was watching them eat pizza this morning. Like, no, I don't work like that. Cardi B put in work, made the right connections, got the break that she needed to get where she's at. And that's when we talk about millennials and their mindset. We're hoping that we can kind of break that. I don't care what you're trying to do. You got to put work into it to get there. So, and if that's even if you want to be a TikTok person, there's a lot of work and things that you got to do that, you know, have dreams, but be willing to do what you need to do to achieve them.
Yeah. But these people, these kids and these younger generation, they don't realize that Cardi B's not walking around with her own cell phone doing these TikToks. There's somebody, she has an assistant, a personal assistant that is like,
she's paying somebody.
Yeah. She's not up all night making content. She has somebody who does that for her.
Yep.
Can people become TikTok sensations? Absolutely, they can. But you need to realize that once you get there, you're not going to be able to do it by yourself either to keep up your brand or the hype or whatever platform it is you're on. And our kids don't realize that. They feel like, okay, well, he played football all his education and now he's in the NFL. No, that's not how that works either. They mistake the glam that's shown on social media and don't realize all the hard work that they put into coming behind it.
Yeah, even if you're talking about football, them dudes like
wake up and go to sleep, sleeping, football.
Drinking egg drinks and watching, taking care of their body and working out. And studying film, learning footwork.
Look,
you know what I'm saying?
They probably don't have one potato chip all football season. I'll put it to you like that. They ain't messing around.
No, they diet is strict. It's a firm commitment to become what they are, and it's a sacrifice that they have to make.
Yep.
Like a lot of cats don't understand how much footwork it takes to be a football player. Like the technique that goes into playing every position. So you're absolutely right, and that's the point we're trying to make. That stop looking at the end result and understand that what people have to do to get there and the sacrifices that they have to make.
Yeah. Well, to that end, I mean, we're talking about like the sacrifices people have to make to get to where they're at and have the things that they have. I want to talk about some of these parents out here who is getting their kids nice little PlayStations, Jordans,
showing up
cell phones,
showing up to the backpack giveaway,
getting public assistance. Like, there's it's a stigma around African Americans out there today that
people of color.
Yeah, people of color in the community that raises a question, and it's should people who receive public assistance have expensive stuff? Like, are you putting in the work? To your point, like Cardi B put in the work to get all the glam and all the stuff she has, but sometimes we see the person at the Walmart register with the brand new iPhone. And using a public assistance card to get their food. And the two, in some people's mind, don't mix. Or is that just a stigma that they place on our community?
Or they come to school dressed to the T's and in Fendi and Jordans and all that, but they don't have no school supplies.
Yeah.
Eating
That's
free
not
lunch.
cool. Eating
Everybody
free
eats free lunch now.
Everybody eats free lunch now.
Back in my day, there was no
yeah.
free lunch.
I ain't never
Mhm.
had free
And you really
lunch
had money.
ever.
You can go into the line and get the John Jay cup with the horse on it and the red drink. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the French fries.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The good food line.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, I ain't never had free lunch. My entire
Hey,
from kindergarten to
I had free
graduation.
lunch.
I did not.
And you look, I was trading in slices of pizza. That was the only day. The pizza day and the burrito day was the only good days for free lunch people. Everything else, I was trying to get French fries from the good food line.
Oh yeah, I was
know?
in a good food line.
But I will tell you too, like, I think that, I mean, anybody who knows me as a kid, like, we were dirt poor. Like, we didn't have, jack. It was me, it's our moms. Like, when we lived in New York, we had everything. It was mom and dad. We had everything in the Bronx. Nice apartment that we owned. We had nice things, all type of stuff, man. As soon as like separation happened and we moved, we went from having everything to having nothing. And we was on public assistance. But a few things that people might know, like, we had video games. Like, I don't know how the hell my mom did it, but we had Nintendo. We was like one of the first people to have a Nintendo.
You sure did, and you cheated at it too.
Yeah.
But that's another show. That's a whole nother show.
As a kid, I didn't experience that. I had everything I ever asked for, wanted, fought for, whatever. Money wasn't an issue in my growing up days. But then when I got divorced too, I was the sole breadwinner of 2 children, 2 big children, that I couldn't buy them cheap shoes because their feet are big. So their friends thought we were rich because both of them had their own game console, because my daughter liked Xbox and my son liked whatever the other one is, PlayStation, whatever.
I had good money.
Yeah, I drove an Xterra. They had everything they wanted, but what they didn't understand.
But were you on public assistance?
No, I was not on public assistance. You know what I was doing? Working overtime, working 20 hours over.
There you go.
I working 60-hour weeks. And so when my kids tell me, my friends think we're rich, whatever, you need to tell them we're not rich. You just don't get to see your mom. You get to be raised by your grandparents because your mom is working.
Yeah.
So there's the back part that they don't realize. People's perception is just so odd, and kids' perception is odd. So they're thinking I'm rich, but they don't see that I'm dead tired, working 60 hours a week, going to college to get my degree, having to leave my children with my parents because my parents wouldn't let me put them in daycare. So those are the consequences of relationships breaking up and the perception that people have when somebody's busting their butt so they don't get on assistance.
You know what I told my kids? We doing pretty good. We rich. I said, no, I'm doing pretty good. Your ass is broke and got about a 25-year lease.
Okay.
You got about 25 years to get it right, and your ass is running out of time. I'm good. Your ass is broke.
Yeah.
Let's get it twisted right here.
Yeah.
It's funny, because we weren't poor. We definitely weren't rich. We were working class. Is what we were.
Working class, exactly.
Grandfather worked at J.C. Penney's, for 39 years. My grandmother was a substitute teacher / beauty, beautician, and my mom was a teacher and then worked for the state. So working class, kind of like you said, we weren't rich, but they did what they did to make sure that we were good. And, and also with my kids. That thing goes 2 ways when you start talking about people and you see them on assistance with iPhones. I mean, hell, people win iPhones and get iPhones and donate it or whatever. So there's a depiction if you stand in a Walmart and you see somebody with an iPhone and they on assistance, you don't know their story. You don't know what they're going to. So
exactly.
But that perception.
It's kind of is that perception. But now we got some foul individuals out there that are doing things with government money and government assistance and playing the system. And hey, that doesn't just come from people of color and minorities, even though we get put out there on the front. Be honest with you, there's a whole bunch of people in Idaho and Kentucky that own public assistance. You know what I'm saying? And it's not calling Idaho and Kentucky. I just try to think of 2 of the whitest places right quick off the top of my head.
Right.
I don't know no brothers from Idaho.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And other than you playing on the basketball team in Kentucky, I don't really know too many people in Kentucky either. So just trying to say that, you know,
You get on my nerves.
that's true. The depiction that's taken when people say that somebody with Jordans or whatever, Jordans is a hip hop thing. That's a black
Yeah,
thing. We made
of
Jordans
course.
popular. Thank you, Michael
Adidas.
Jordan. Even though you
Thank you,
don't
Run
care about
DMC.
people shooting people, black kids with your shoes on. We know
Right.
we'll take that. But other than that, yeah, I got some Adidas on now. To be honest with you, but that depiction probably bothers me more than what happens, you know, when you see people, because you don't know their story, you know,
Right.
and that's always a judgment casted on it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's the greatest point about the whole thing is we don't know how they obtain those things, or their grandparents could have bought them shoes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
They could have got the phone from, you know, maybe it was a free upgrade back in the day when we used to have free upgrades, you know, things like that, man. Or somebody
Yeah.
else could have bought it for a gift or whatever.
Yeah.
So
But
it's,
these are
it's
the
really the
perceptions
Or they got it in the
perception,
pawn
stigma.
shop. Because
Or
the pawn,
got it
you know,
at-
Pawn shop.
Or
But it's a stigma.
Facebook.
It's a
Whatever
stigma
it's
on our
called.
community, like you said.
Yeah.
What shoes they talk about? Jordans.
Mhm.
They don't, you know, they ain't talking about no Vans. Why you got Vans and you got
Vans aren't cheap either, though.
Oh, they ain't. But
for
still,
a
they don't talk
camp-
about those.
Right.
They talk about, you know, Jordans.
DG,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
them skateboard shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
That my
Right.
kids like to wear, and I was wondering,
But
why
that's
hell
the
they want
perception
skateboard
of the
shoes?
educators who are teaching these children, and these
Yep.
children come with no supplies, but they're like, well,
You can't afford a pencil?
somebody could afford some Jordans for you. They couldn't afford, you know, a notebook and some pencils.
Mhm.
So not only are parents giving their kids the school supplies they need, we're having to donate too for the kids who don't have. And I don't mind donating to people who don't have.
No,
I donate most of my stuff after I've worn it a couple times or whatever. I donate it. I don't sell it. I don't do anything like that. I give it to somebody who needs it. That's just how I am. I was raised to be grateful for what I have and to pay it forward too. So.
I will tell you, like, from my perspective, the way that and this is just, I don't have any proof of this. I'm just going to say what my thoughts are, man. But I think if anyone is taking advantage of this, it's probably white people more than it is black people. And my reason why I think that is because of other examples, like shoplifting. Like, they get trained, and there are statistics out there that state this, like security at the stores or whatever, they get trained to follow black people.
Yes.
Like, follow the black person around the store.
Mhm.
Well, while you following the black guy,
the white person
there's
is over
5
there
white
stealing.
people over there,
Mhm.
you know, stealing all kind of stuff.
Yep.
Right. And why I think that, and this is where my own assumption comes in, but I think that white people are doing the same thing because they feel like, hey, nobody gonna check on me. I'm white.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm gonna just go ahead and get me some public assistance and have a, you know, a job and, you know, use the system to go ahead and get all this extra stuff. It's just that's what I feel. I don't know. I may be wrong.
You know, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every race steals. Let's get that out there.
That's
you know,
true.
You know, like
every socioeconomic.
And I think what we're saying is every race steals.
Every
race takes advantage of the system, and basically it is like, let's make that equal opportunity because we ain't the only ones doing
right.
it.
Oh, no. For real,
You know
but to
like,
hear it in the media, it is.
That's
we
the point.
are the only ones
it's
doing
equal
it.
opportunity. The stigma is placed on black people, but everyone is doing it. So that's a great point.
You know, you got the projects, you got the trailer home. You have deprived people that are on poverty doing what they need to do to survive, regardless. Now, statistically, there's more white people than black people, so you would say it'd be more. Now, we break it down percentages and all that. We want to get technical. Who knows what that is? But end of the day, everybody steals. Everybody takes advantage of the system. That's kind of what we're talking about, is how people take advantage of the system, and then they still get fine things. Just stop portraying it as being people of color doing it all the time. And our items that we use.
Right.
Yes.
I don't know if y'all seen they cloned Tyrone. You ever seen that?
Yes.
Yeah. So they showed how they utilized all the stereotypical stuff black people to do. You know, the same
put
thing.
The drug in them.
Exactly. So, you know what I'm saying? Great drink and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I just so happen to like great drink.
They was up there drinking. They was up there eating that chicken. Boy, they was having a good ass time.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Bojangles just opened up down here. You know what I'm saying? Got a line wrapped around the thing. And it ain't all black people in that damn line.
No.
That's
No,
what
it's
pisses me
not.
off. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it's on Petranco at that.
Yeah, on the
I
west
was
side
like,
too. That even the black
what?
side of town.
Yeah, trying to get to AutoZone. I have to go all the way around Sonic to get to AutoZone because they opened that Bojangles right there for the last week.
Wow.
That line, people driving down Petranco getting mad because that right line is all over, all the way
Yeah,
almost
it's
to
serious.
151.
Yeah, we
People
tried
with
to
their
go over there right before it
flashers.
opened.
For some
like,
chicks.
it was still under construction.
Shoot.
I'm
Black
glad we
owned
missed
business. Black owned business. So I mean, black owned franchise. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, and sure, I got people in North Carolina, so I've had some Bojangles, and
Me too.
yeah, so it's good, and we'll keep it at that. But the thing is you know, stereotypical. It ain't all black people in that line getting
it
chicken.
sure is.
Now it's a
Right.
whole bunch of black people complaining because it ain't no
No
bone-in chicken. You know what I'm saying? It's all tenders. You know, the black people wasn't
All
happy with
white
that
meat.
at all. They like, y'all
Where's
niggas
the
ain't got no
bone?
wings in there.
Yeah.
You know?
And see, I hate
I
chicken
can't-
without a
I can't-
bone. It doesn't make sense.
I can't get a
Is that
breast
the
and
only
a
type
thigh
of,
up in
like,
there, like,
even
yeah.
across the whole country, they don't have
like
it?
yeah.
All they have is
No.
tenders?
I mean, when I was up north,
We
you know,
had bone,
they had
yeah.
the bone-in chicken, but the one here in San Antonio, I'm not knocking it, man. You know, shout out to the brothers that open it up. The chicken is
Yeah.
good, though. I'm just stating the fact, the reality. We were sitting out there waiting. The black conversation was, these niggas ain't got no bone-in chicken. Like, I'm trying to get me an 8-piece up in this motherfucker.
Right.
Now I passed up a Popeyes to come to this.
Ah!
I got
Yeah,
tenders.
Popeyes
That's just being real.
literally right
That's
across
you know, that's
yeah.
realistic feedback. Shout
Yeah.
out to Joshua Green. I follow him, and he's one of the co-owners. So if he's listening to it, brother, I'm not criticizing you. You know, I think it's a beautiful product. I enjoyed my meal. I'll definitely be back and definitely go out there. But
When you
I'm
in the
ju-
mood for tenders.
but I'm telling
Yeah.
you what the black people were saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like, people came in there wanting a 2-piece and a pepper. You know what I'm saying? They was like, man, you know, this shit from this shit from the real South. Nigga, I'm giving you a 2-piece, and let's see if they got
Nope.
they got jalapenos. But, yeah.
Wah, wah.
Let me get that 5-piece tender, bro. You know what I'm saying? So
That is too
Honey
funny.
mustard sauce.
Yeah.
yeah, so no, that's
Some
just,
barbecue sauce.
shout out to Bojangles, man. I'm
Yeah,
glad y'all
shout
came
out.
down here, and I know y'all will
Yeah.
probably actually get it to where we want it. You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
You know, and just off the subject, man, why they got a 24-hour like chicken place? Like, you know, after the club, you can just fall, other than the food truck, like you fall and just get some good ass
You better
fried
stick to
chicken.
the food truck.
Mhm.
Like at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, you go.
You know, I got hypertension. It's just bad eating, like wanting that,
Mhm.
like blood pressure just automatically went up just talking
Right.
like that already. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
exactly.
Hey, Stacy got some comments on here. I'm gonna bring them up. She got 2 comments at the end.
She says white folks have the highest number for public assistance, whoever was speaking about statistics. And we come in third, but like everything else, the focus is on division. Turn upper and middle class against low income folks.
It's a class war.
Politicians-
I've been
yeah.
saying that.
Politicians are the worst to focus any crime towards our community.
Yeah, and they like to be sweet and
Great
say like,
point.
"Hey man, let me
Yes,
talk
thanks,
about
Stacy.
let me talk about urban communities." That's
Mhm.
that's the
Let's not talk about urban communities. Let's talk about what's going on in the suburbs or the people coming to the urban part of the town committing the crimes, because that's in essence what happens a lot.
Yeah.
Well, if you go to a small town, there's always some tracks or some bricks or something that divides the people that are well off from the people
the
that are
tracks.
going. You know, they live on the other side of the tracks. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Ain't
He's not
nothing
from
like
this
old
side.
country brick project. You ever been caught up in that shit?
No,
That
that's
should be
it.
ghetto.
Yeah.
That ain't no, you know what I'm saying? Like that's one way in, one out. That's why they invented the trap in the country. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like so just it's always a depiction that this is because you know it's easy to go where everybody is. It's easy to go to New York
Yeah.
City and say, hey, you know what, that's where all the crime is. There's 1 million, 2 million people in New York.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting robbed or something's going on over there. That's easy to do.
Yeah.
You know what
But
I'm saying?
You know the point that Stacy made, man, about division and them trying to keep us divided. Like they have to, because our whole our system is set up on division.
Mhm.
Republican, Democrat, Independent. Like,
Mhm.
let's imagine if there was one party where everybody thought alike and we were all in unison. And it's like the Matrix. Like, you remember the Matrix where it's like, well, we couldn't
That's
make
called
we
utopia.
couldn't make a utopia because y'all
Yeah.
fools fought against it. So we had to make a crazy world like y'all lived in before this.
Yeah.
They don't want that. They want to create that division. They do not want white people, liking black people, liking Indians or whatever.
Hispanic.
They want to create that division amongst us in order to stay in power, in order to have purpose. They need to have that division so they can have a purpose
because
for being
it's
where
survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
If they divide us, the upper class is going to survive and the middle and lower class are going to die off.
Oh yeah, but even they have their own divisions too. Like, yeah, you got an upper class and a lower class, but believe me, when there's a bunch of rich black folks and rich white folks, you see the black folks gonna hang together more than they're gonna hang with the white folks. There's all these different classes, even at different tiers of who you are in society. So they need that. They want it. They thrive on it, and it's what keeps them in power. Is by keeping us divided.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, the whole race thing is based on the to keep people in power. I mean, in Europe, man, it was a little different. It was more of a class system. It was out there. They had royalty, and you know, closer you were to the king, the better off your life was. The whole 9 yards. Moved over here to America, came up with a whole system. So how do you get that same situation, you know, but without having a king?
Demographics,
you know,
is what they call them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, you set up a class system just strictly off of the race of the people there. You black, you automatically second class. That's set up. That's in the Constitution, people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a law that had to say, nah, we're not second class anymore.
Right.
And they vote on that law every other year. You know,
the law that said that, what was it, Dred Scott, the case?
Yeah, Dred Scott, separate but equal. You know, which we know that didn't work. So yeah, I mean, understand that, you know, and I know some people are gonna look at the show and say, oh man, it's too much about race and culture and blah, blah, blah. But you have to understand that that's because that's the way the world is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
that's
so
the temperature of the world.
Exactly. And if we don't address things out of that point of view, you know, this whitewash of I don't see color and I don't do this. Nah. You know, and everybody's equal. That's a trick. That's what you tell somebody when they losing. Oh man, well, you know, you got 1 foot, but you know, you just as equal as I am. So you should be able to beat me at this race. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I got 1 damn foot. How do I get my other damn foot? You know what I'm saying? You know, but that's what they want to paint the world as. Like, you know, nah, man, we equal, man. And you know, slavery was a long time ago. I just told y'all that the Civil Rights Act got passed in 1964. You know, my mama knows a world before that. You know what I'm saying? My mother, you know what I'm saying?
About this, like, how long did the Reconstruction take, like after slavery? I don't even know the answer to that, but I'm just saying it takes time for just because you enact a law, just because the Civil Rights Act came, don't mean we all became we all became happy with one another after that.
We wasn't feeling that till the 70s.
Like, we still are trying to get there today. In some ways, you know what I'm saying? So,
well, think about it. 64 was when the law was passed. I think Martin Luther King was assassinated in 68. Him and Kennedy. I want to say that was so. You know, so the law was passed in 64, but it was like everything came off and we was fucking singing Kumbaya and everybody was happy. Like I say, we probably didn't start feeling that till the 70s. You got to understand in the 70s, that's when buses came along. They had to pass a law that said we're gonna bus black kids to these better white schools, you know what I'm saying? Because they separate but equal schools are shit and y'all's are better. And we had racial tension then. That's the 70s.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So 64, 70s, we can go into the 80s. Think about it. Rodney King shit happened in the 80s, was it? Or early 90s? It was early 90s.
Yeah, early 90s.
That's 30 years after the damn civil rights movement.
That's the point. We still got Black Lives Matter. We still got police. We still got people killing black people just because they black. I mean,
there you go.
It's not even there yet. We still don't have true civil rights. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. So I mean, and that's like you said. Tina said it right. That's the temperature.
Yes, sir.
Of what's going on. So that's why the perspective is what the perspective is.
Yeah. So
how can we change that temperature though? How long is it going to take to change?
Not
it feels like
I don't know.
we're not going to live to see
not
it.
in our lifetime.
Yeah,
especially with our kids. Some of our kids, I can say all of them, they're singing this. We're all the same color song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
we're not.
Like go talk to your grandmama, bro. You know, go talk to your grandmama and ask her what you're asking me,
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Like, go talk to her and see what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
understand who you are as a people.
It's
Mhm.
hard to change the I don't know. It's hard to change the foundation of anything in my estimation. Like, I don't know. We got hybrid different types of like fruit or whatever. Like, but no
Oh,
matter how
yeah.
many times like you try to make the new fruit, it's always gonna have the whatever it started off
with
in there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And our country started off, even before our country started, I think you made the point.
Yeah.
1600s.
19
There
or
was
16,
slaves.
19. 16,
Right?
19.
There were slaves here, 1619.
Mhm.
This country was founded on slavery and division and different classes of citizens based on race.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's ever going to just totally be eliminated.
Nah.
Can it get better? It has gotten better. I ain't gonna sit there and act like I'm still
Oh,
picking
yeah.
cotton, right? Because I'm not. I never was. Luckily, like Pastor V, I was never doing that.
Right.
We've grown. We've gotten better over time, but I don't think it'll ever be a place where it's just true equality.
Mhm.
Not in this country anyway. That's
Yeah.
just my thinking.
People are going to still teach their kids they're better than them because of the color of their skin.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And people who don't believe that and say that or are not being realistic. Like, and let's be true. Let's look at it from, if we're just white people sitting here, at the dinner table, you're not going to say it like, hey, you're just better than a black person because you're white. But your parents have instilled certain things in you
Mhm.
that you're teaching your children because of the system. That's why I call it systematic racism.
That's right.
Has taught you that, hey, don't go live in that neighborhood because of X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Don't go to that school, or don't go to that side of town, or don't do this, or don't mix with those certain types of people.
Right.
Yeah, you're not coming out and saying black or whatever, but the system is set it up to now where you can live in a world where you don't have to be associated with black people or Hispanic people or minority people. And when your children learn that world or whatever the case may be, and they're kind of protected from it, unfortunately, the system is teaching them how to be racism. That's where we're at in America
Yeah,
now.
that's part of CRT.
Yeah. I don't
mean-
think like people are just, and they're, I don't think that people are just sitting around and saying, hey, just hate black people. Maybe it's a few out there
Mhm.
doing that. But I think it's people that know and understand how they can navigate the world without them.
Yeah.
And their concerns aren't our concerns.
But see,
See what I'm saying?
they'll sit up and say, well, critical race theory is fake. But when you're doing those things that you just said, like living in a certain place because of how the demographics are, or not doing this, that, and the other because what the implications could be, like you're seen as, I don't know, a friend of the black people or whatever you want to call it. But then on the other hand, you're saying, well, critical race theory, that's no such thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you navigating through this motherfucker like it is.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, and because Tyrone is in the country club, he's a vice president in what corporation, and he's got pretty good money, and his family's admitted in the country club. Don't mean it's good for the black people's plight is over. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So a lot of times the racism, it ain't as blatant, it's not as forceful. And a lot of people probably aren't even aware of it because that's just the way they live. Their mom and dad didn't come home talking about black people. Hell, they had a couple of their friends were black
Right.
and good, and a couple of the friends they grew up are black and good, or whatever the case may be. But the way the system's set up is what the problem is. And sometimes that understanding is what we don't get out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we don't start understanding. So that's why as a show, we address some things, but we address it from probably a very ethnic point.
Yeah.
We address it from a cultural point because it's part of an education of, hey, man, be aware where your world is, be aware of our world is, and let's figure out a way to make this thing work.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And coincide.
This is who we are, right? This
Yeah.
is what we're going through. This is our experience, and that's what we got
Yeah.
the capability to speak to. So, I just want to go ahead and thank you guys for another great episode, man. This has been a great conversation. I want to thank everybody online who's watching us on the live stream. Thank you, Stacy, so much for all of your participation
All
and
the
your comments on
Stacey, we
Facebook.
appreciate that.
Anybody out there watching on YouTube Live, appreciate you for tuning in as well. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, all of the Google Podcasts, everything out there, thank you for listening, downloading this episode, and hanging out with us. Y'all got anything y'all want to add before we go ahead and get out of here?
No.
Don't sound
Thank-
like it.
Yeah. Thanks,
Alright.
everybody.
Thank you. Have a great one.
Yeah, tune in during the week also. Check us out.